Okay, so let's start. Good afternoon to all of you. My name is Mylene TUMAMAK, and we are going to have our lesson about infinitives and participles. Okay, so in this lesson, we are going to have other five subtopics about this. Okay, so we have infinitives, participles, present participles, and gerunds. Next is present participle and gerund spelling rules, past participles, spelling rules for past participles, and the irregular past participles. So let's proceed. First, let us go with infinitives and participles. Okay, so first we are going to talk about what is infinitives. So infinitives are words that are formed with to plus verb. Okay, so take note of these formula. So kahit English yung pinag-aaralan natin, we are going to use mathematical equations to understand these. Okay, so to plus verb can form infinitives. So for example, we have the word to play. So which among here is our verb? Can you please tell me? In the word to play, which one is our verb? Yes, Reseline?
I think it's the word play po.
Play. That's great. So we have the word play. Now, we added the word to. That's why we now have the infinitive to play. So what do we call the word that doesn't have the word to? So we only call that base or simple form or the bare infinitive. So again, to plus verb is equals to infinitive. So always remember that if you can see a verb that has the word to before that verb, we call it infinitive. Did you get it? Okay. So let's have a short practice. So say whether the following are infinitives or not. So sabihin nyo lang kung if it is infinitive or not infinitive. So let's start. Number one, to dance. Is it infinitives or not infinitives?
Infinitive.
Infinitives. Okay. Next, jump. Jump. Is it
Not
infinitives or
infinitive po.
not infinitives? Okay. Number three, to swim.
Infinitives po.
Infinitives. Number four, to fly.
Infinitive po.
Infinitives. And lastly, we have write.
Not infinitive po.
Not infinitives. Okay, great. So now that you familiarize yourself with what is infinitive, now let's proceed to the next one. We have present participles and gerunds. So again, earlier we talked about infinitives. So infinitives are words that are formed because of the word to and a verb combined together. Now, in this one, we have present participles and gerunds. We are going to use another mathematical equation for this one. So always remember that participles or present participles and gerunds are formed same or with they are formed using verb plus ing suffix. So even though they are formed the same, they are actually they functions differently. So okay. First, let us talk about present participles. So present participles are mostly used with auxiliary verbs to form continuous tenses. Do you guys know what is an auxiliary verb or do you have any idea? Can you give me an example of an auxiliary verbs?
If or were.
If, are, were, okay. So that is what we call auxiliary verbs. So these are further examples of it. So we have am, is, are, was, were, being, been, be, has, have, and so on and so on. So again, present participles are used with auxiliary verbs to form continuous tenses. So later we are going to talk about more about continuous tenses or how does it create a sentence. So okay, so please remember this or familiarize yourself with these auxiliary verbs because it will help you to further understand what is a present participles. Okay. Oh, okay. Example first. We have the sentence, my brothers were playing tennis last night. Okay, can you please tell me which one here, or please identify what is the subject in this sentence? Can you please identify which is the um, subject in this sentence? My brothers were playing tennis last night.
Um, I think po it's my brothers.
My brothers. Okay. How about the object? Which one is the object? The object of the sentence. My brothers were playing tennis last night. Yes, Rosaline?
Um, the tennis po. Tennis, the
Tennis,
object.
tennis. Okay, tennis. How about the auxiliary verb? What was our auxiliary verb? My brothers were playing tennis last night. Yes, Lainey.
Where po, ma'am?
Were, okay. And lastly, what is our present participle? Yes, Rosaline.
Um, playing po.
Playing. Okay, so again, present participles are formed using the verb plus the ing. So that means our present participle here is the word playing. So let's see. Our subject is my brothers, while our auxiliary verb is the word were. Playing is our present participle. Tennis is our object. And last night, the phrase last night is the rest of our sentence, or it gives us further information about the message being told. So my brothers were playing tennis last night. So now we have were playing as our present continuous. Okay, so can you please tell me, is the action still happening at the moment? Are they still playing at the moment? Yes or no?
No, no po.
No, no, why? How can you say that they are not playing at the moment?
The word were po is the past tense of the word are.
Yes, it's the past tense, but we said that playing is our present participle. The is it do you think it's correct if we say we're playing? Yes or no?
I think it's still correct po
It's
because
still correct because
the action po. May nakalagay po kasi na last night. So it's indicating po that the actions is already happened na po.
yes, that's correct. So, because of this, because of our auxiliary verb, we now know, and also with the help of the phrase last night, we now know that they are not playing. But if we say, my brothers are playing tennis, is it is it still happening at the moment? Yes or no? If we say my brothers are playing tennis, is it still happening?
Yes po.
Yes, okay. Because of the auxiliary verb are. It's not in the past tense. So, my brothers were playing last night, or our present participle playing with the use or with the help of our auxiliary verb. So now, because of that, the present participle is now being used to make past continuous. Past continuous. It means the whole night, buong gabi naglalaro sila ng tennis. So, it is already done, but let's say, they did it continuously last night. So, with the help of auxiliary verb, naging past continuous yung present participle natin. Okay, do you guys get it or do you have any questions? Do you have any questions?
Yan so far po.
None.
None
Okay,
po.
great. So let's proceed to the gerunds. So earlier, we said that present participles and gerunds are formed the same. Kasi nga, verb plus the ing form or the suffix ing. But now, earlier we talked about present participle, but now we are going to talk about gerund. So what is a gerund? Can you please read? Someone can you please read the sentence? Lainey?
Gerunds are verbs that are used as nouns. They are sometimes known as verbal nouns.
Okay. So if earlier we said or we talked about present participles, now we are going to talk about gerunds. Magkamukha sila actually kasi nga verb plus ing pero magkaiba sila ng function. Because gerunds are working as nouns. That's why if you saw a gerund or if you saw a noun na nag-e-end sa ing or verb plus ing, you call it gerunds. Or if it functions as noun, we call it verbal nouns. Okay, example. Playing tennis is their hobby. Okay, what is our subject?
Playing tennis po.
Playing tennis. Okay. How about our verb? What is our verb here? What is our verb here? Playing tennis is their hobby. Wrestling.
Is po.
Is. Okay. And lastly, what is the function of the phrase their hobby? What do we call their hobby? Or what is the function of the phrase their hobby in this sentence? Lainey,
It's subject complement po.
subject complement or the complement. Okay. So now, playing is our gerund here. It's not a verb. It is not functioning as verb. It functions as our noun or our verbal noun. Playing is the gerund. Along with tennis, it forms the subject of the sentence. So, hindi natin pwedeng sabihin na playing. That's it. That's the noun. Kasi hindi kumpleto yung thought. Again, subject kasi 'di ba? We all know na subject is what we are talking about sa isang sentence. So if we will just say playing, there's no sense. Walang sense yung subject natin. So playing tennis is the correct answer if we were asked if what is the subject in this sentence. Okay. Oh, before we proceed first, let me talk about complements. Okay, so we have what we call S plus V plus C. So subject plus the verb plus the complement. That's how gerund works. Okay, so if you are going to use gerund, as your noun, just like the word playing, you should follow the rule, which is the S plus V plus C, where S stands as the subject, V stands as the verb, and C stands as the complement or the subject complement. So, bakit ito yung verb? Why do we have the verb is? It is actually a linking verb. Hindi na siya basta verb lang. It is a linking verb that links our subject and our complement. So let's remove our writings there. So did you get it?
Yes po.
Yes. Okay. So let me
Yes
ask
po.
you now. With the sentence playing tennis is their hobby. What is their hobby? What is their hobby according to the sentence? Are wrestling,
Playing tennis po.
playing tennis. Now, for them, what is playing tennis? Laney,
Their hobby po.
their hobby. Okay, so there you go. That's how this sentence works. Did you understand?
Yes po.
Yes, okay. So let's proceed to our next lesson for this one. We have present participle and gerund spelling rules. So we cannot just um, change the spelling of a verb kasi meron siyang rule. Now, what we are going to talk about, how do we change the spelling of the present participles and gerund? Okay, first, all present participles and gerunds are formed by again adding the ing to the base form of the verb. So again, we have verb plus the ing suffix. So we call it present participles and gerunds. Now, the spelling of some base forms changes slightly before adding ing. So, hindi tayo pwedeng basta-basta lang mag-add ng ing to create present participles and gerunds. You need to familiarize yourself with the spelling. Okay, so let's try. We have the word choose. How are we going to change the word choose into present participle or gerund? How do we spell choose if we are going to add ing? How are we going to spell it? Rosaline,
Um, we omit po the letter E and wala na po yung E, tas idadagdag na lang po yung ing form po.
ing. So we are going to eliminate the letter E. So it will be choosing for the word choosing. So since when we are reading choose, hindi naman natin sinasabing choose eh. So it is read silently. E is silent. So when we are going to change it into a present participle or into gerund, we are going to eliminate the letter E and then we are going to add the ing. Okay, next. Where? How about where? How do we spell where in present participle and gerund?
You just have to add ing in the word po.
On the word at the end. Okay, so we have where, wearing. So just add the I. So since where is our main verb, ing is just added to form the regular present participle. So when you don't have to change anything, if you just need to add ing, we call that regular present participles. But if you need to change the whole spelling, or you need to slightly change the spelling, we call it irregular present participles. Okay, next. How about the word tie? How do we change it into present participle and gerund? Wrestling.
We substitute po the sound of IE as letter Y po. So it's T, Y, and the ING form po.
Okay, great. So we are going to remove the IE from the word, and then we are going to change it into letter Y, and that's the time when we can add the ing. So IE changes to Y. Okay. Next. So again, if a word ends with IE or E, we are going to change the spelling into Y before adding the ing. Okay, how about oh? Okay, so here we have forget. So if we are going to change it, we are going to add another T. So the letter T here will will be doubled, and then we are going to add the ing. So last letters are consonant, vowel, consonant. So if you can see here, consonant, vowel, consonant. And the final syllable is stress. So kapag binabasa natin yung forget, we say forget. So there is a stress when we are pronouncing the word forget, right? So that's why when we are going to add ing, we are going to double the letter. So the last letter doubles unless it is W, X, or Y. So again, regardless if it is consonant, vowel, consonant, as long as it ends with W, X, or Y, hindi nyo siya ida-double. Okay? If it ends with W, X, Y, W, X, or Y, you're not going to double the letter. Okay? Only if it is um other letters. If it is, let's say, L, ganon, but and also if it is on the rule of consonant, vowel, consonant, and then the last syllable is stressed, doon nyo lang siya pwedeng i-double, saka nyo pwedeng i-add yung ing. Okay? Okay. So, let's have a sentence here. They are whispering to each other. So, the last letter is not doubled because per is not stressed. So, we have the word whisper, right? That is our base form. Whisper. We don't say whisper, right? Hindi naman natin ganun binabasa yung whisper. The first syllable is the one that is stressed. So, because of that, hindi na natin kailangan i-double yung letter R. Kasi 'di ba kanina ang sabi natin that letters that does not ends with W, X, or Y, we can double them, and then that's the time we can add the ing. Pero this time kasi, hindi naman natin ini-stress yung per in the word whisper. That's why we don't have to double the letter R sa spelling. Okay, did you get it? Okay, next one. I'm enjoying my vacation. Okay, so the last letter of the verb doesn't double if it is Y. Okay, di ba kasi kanina sinabi na natin yun kanina na if it does not ends with W, X, or Y, pwede natin siyang i-double. But this time, yes, the joy is stressed, pero nag-end naman siya sa letter Y. So we don't need to double the letter Y before adding the ing letters or suffix. Next, she's swimming in the ocean. So the last letter is doubled because the pattern is consonant, vowel, consonant. So we have the consonant, vowel, consonant. That is why when we are going to change swimming into a present participle or gerund, you need to double the letter M. Gets ba?
Yes
Gets
po,
the verb?
ma'am.
Yes. Okay, that's great. So next, I think this is the last example. He is making a cake. Okay, so let me ask you, ano ba yung base form ng making? What is the base form or the simple form of the word making? Lainey,
Make po.
make. Okay, so when we change it into ing, it changes into making. Why? Because we just dropped the letter e from the verb. So always remember that if the letter ends with letter e, if the word ends with letter e, we are going to eliminate the letter e and change it into ing, just like this one. He is making a cake from the word make. Okay. Next, we have the past participle. So earlier, first, we have the infinitives. Next is the present participles and the gerunds. Now we have the present participles, or I mean the past participles. Okay, can you please read what is past participles? Reseline.
Um, Past participles are used with auxiliary verbs to form perfect simple tenses, such as the present perfect simple.
Okay, so present participles are used with auxiliary verbs. Again, we have the auxiliary verbs. I hope you can still remember what are the auxiliary verbs that we are talking about. So, just like the present participles, gagamit din tayo ng auxiliary verbs to form, this time, perfect simple tenses, such as the present perfect simple. Okay, example. Can you please read? Lainey?
I have played the guitar for 5 years.
Okay, I have played the guitar for 5 years. Which one here is our subject?
I po.
I. Okay, how about the object? How about the object? What is our object here?
The guitar po.
The guitar. Okay, how about the auxiliary verb, Rosaline?
Have po,
Have. And lastly, our past participle is
played.
played. Okay, so let's see. So we have subject. I is our subject. Auxiliary verb is have. Played is our past participle. Object is the guitar. And the rest of the sentence is for 5 years. Okay, so, oh, okay. I have played the guitar for 5 years. Now we have the phrase have played. Wait, let's use this. We have played. Have played now became our present perfect tense. So we call it present perfect tense, which refer to an action that occurred at an indefinite time in the past or before that that are still happening right now. So when we say I have played the guitar for 5 years, anong ibig sabihin nun? Tumutugtog siya ng gitara ng 5 taon na ngayon. So, he's been playing, let's say, since 5 years ago. So, that's why we use present perfect tense, or we have here have played as our as our present perfect tense to complement the phrase for 5 years. I have played the guitar for 5 years. Okay, so always remember that when we are forming present perfect tense, we use have. Oh, my writing is so pretty. Have or has plus the past participle. Have or has plus past participle is equals to the present perfect tense. I hope you can still remember all the formulas that we are talking about since earlier. So that's it. This is how past participles works. So it creates present perfect tense na makakapagsabi, or it can help us understand if a certain action is being done or began in the past and are still continuing at the present time. Okay. Oh, what happens? Okay, there. So, spelling rules for past participle. Just like the present participle and gerunds, of course, meron ding rules kung paano ba ini-spell yung past participle. First, we have these four words. Listen, like, cry, and drop. This is what we call, ano yung tawag natin sa mga ganitong klaseng words without suffixes and all? What do we call them? Do you still remember? Listen, like, cry, drop. What kind of verbs are these? Listen, like, cry, drop. If we don't add, kung wala naman siyang ing, if wala naman siyang word na to, what do we call this kind of verbs? Reseline.
Base or simple forms po.
Okay, great. So we call them just the base form or the simple form. Now, we have these another words for them. So listen became listened, like became liked, cry became cried, and drop became dropped. What can you notice with the spelling of each words? What can you notice with the words, or how does the spelling changes when we change it into, or when we added ed at the end? Reseline?
Mm. Like in the form of ing po, when listen, it's the ed was added po when it's past tense po. Pag y naman po, yung sounds of y po na substitute po siya ng I at saka po no ed. And drop po, I think po, it's because sa stress syllable pa rin po. Kaya po nagdo-double P po siya, plus P.
Okay, so it's super similar niya lang sa rules noong present participle and also the gerund. So if you know how the rules of the spelling in present participle and also the gerund, how does it work and all, you can also understand how it works kapag ed naman yung i-add natin. So, listen became listened, we added ed because for many regular verbs, ed is added. So again, regular verbs because inad lang natin yung ed. Oh. Inad lang natin yung ed, and then we did not change any spelling at all. Inad lang natin yung ed, and then that's it. That's the past participle. Like, liked, we just added d because nag-e-end na siya sa letter e. So d is just added. Cry became cried because the last letter is a consonant and a Y. So we just need to change the letter Y into IED and replace it with D and add D. Just there. So kanina, 'di ba, sa present participle we have I think that's tie. That's TIE. But when we change it into present participle, we eliminated the IE and then we change it into Y. Pero this time, when we are going to change a word or a base form that ends with IE, papalitan natin siya ng IED. So it's just vice versa. That's how the spelling in present participle and past participle works. And lastly, we have the word drop, change into dropped. So the last letters are consonant, vowel, consonant, and the final syllable is stressed. So we have again consonant, vowel, consonant, and because it is stressed. So always remember consonant, vowel, consonant, and if the letter or I mean if the syllable is stressed, we are going to double the last letter and then add the ed. Okay, so now let's proceed to the last lesson, which is the irregular past participles. So, do you guys have any questions regarding our past lessons?
None po.
None. Okay, so now let's proceed to the last one, which is the irregular past participles. So, many verbs in English have irregular past participle forms. They often look quite different from their base form. So, kagaya ng sinabi ko kanina, regular verbs, we do not have to change any spelling at all. You just need to add ed or ing at the end without changing any spelling. But if it is an irregular verb or irregular past participle form, we are going to slightly change or I mean no, not slightly, but it will actually look quite different from their base form. Okay, for example, I buy new clothes every month. What do you think is the past participle of the word buy? Do we need to add ed at the end? Yes, Rosaline?
Bot po.
Bought. How do we spell bought?
BoughT po.
Yes, okay. So, if we are going to change it into a past participle, instead of saying bide, where we add ed at the end, bide, or let's say we doubled it, bide, since it's vowel consonant, I mean consonant, vowel, consonant, we can just say bide, right? we can double the we can double the y because it's consonant vowel consonant, but no, it does not work like that. We are going to change the entire, actually not entire, we are actually changing the sentence just to make it in a past participle. So instead, we are now saying I bought new clothes every month. So we changed the whole spelling to make it in past participle or in past tense. So, oh, there. So that's our past participle. Now, these are some of the other irregular past forms that we have in our English language. So, can you please read, Lainey?
Bite, bitten, hear, heard, know, known, learn, learnt, speak, spoken, teach, taught, weep, wept, grow, grown.
Okay, so there you go. So these are only some, actually marami pa, sobrang dami pang irregular verbs. Uh, yeah, irregular verbs, irregular base verbs na kapag change natin into, let's say, past participle, change yung whole spelling. Okay, so I hope that you guys learned something from me right now. Do you guys have any question?
No question po.
No
No,
questions,
okay.
ma'am.
Okay, so I think that's it for this one. So again, first we have, or we talked about infinitives, and then we talked about participles, and then we have talked about present participles, the rules, how we change the spelling when it comes to present participles, gerunds, and also right now we talked about past participles and how the spelling in irregular past participle changes. Okay, so I think that's it. Thank you very much for participating in this class, and goodbye.
Thank you po.
Okay.
Thank you po.